All right, YouTube, this Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. We're going to talk about New York this morning. Mayor Adams of New York, instead of fixing the immigration problem in New York and helping the citizens of New York, Mayor Adams feels like he needs to attack social media. So now he's suing YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, and Facebook. And you may ask, what is his problem with social media? See, the problem that he's having with social media is that social media has taken over, and the citizens get their news now from the internet, from podcasters and bloggers. So we are dominating the information age, and they can't take it. They can't stand it. You know, the biggest threat to corrupt government is an informed public. So the public is more informed and making decisions not based on the government's ability to influence them. They're making decisions based on the influence that they're getting from social media. That's why they call social media podcasters influencers. So Eric Adams and the government in New York, they have a problem with an informed citizenry. You know, they don't want the citizens knowing what's going on. They want to keep doing things in the dark. But after this last debacle with trusting the Democratic Party, nobody listens to them. Nobody listens to MSNBC or CNN. They don't want to hear the lies anymore. So people are turning to social media to get their information. They're going to blog sites that they like. They're going to TikTokers they like. If you think about the boycott with the truckers, it started from Chicago Ray making a 2-minute TikTok video, which turned into a movement. So if a 2-minute TikTok video can turn into a movement, they have a problem with social media at this point. So instead of him, like I said, fixing New York, fixing their party, and looking out for their citizens, he comes up with the bright idea: we're going to sue the YouTubers. We're going to sue. We're going to shut these platforms down. But he's making it about the children. I want you to listen. He's going to be boring. You know what I mean? But you have to listen and see the lies that he's going to tell and the reason that he's going to sue all the social media platforms. So this is for fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act for Education and Commentary. Check out the mayor.
Look to the future. My fellow New Yorkers, this is a city built on innovation and technology, a place where we celebrate progress and look to the future. But even as we have created jobs, opportunity, and prosperity with new technology, there have been unforeseen consequences and new dangers, especially when it comes to social media's effect on the mental health of our young people. Over the past decade, we have.
I'm gonna stop him right there because I want to see I want you to see where he's going. He's talking about social media and the threat on young people, because it's young people in the streets talking about they want Trump. It's young people in the street communicating with each other and talking about why they want to vote for Trump. But he can't say that social media is influencing politics. He has to make it more palpable by saying it's a mental health issue. But this is Mayor Adams. This is the mayor of New York. This is Mr. Give the immigrants $1,000 bridge card. What's up with these immigrants' mental health? The immigrants are the one attacking the police officers. You don't think they got mental health issues that you need to be checking before you let them in your city? Listen to him.
I've seen just how addictive and overwhelming the online world can be, exposing children to content they are not ready for, disrupting the educational process, and seriously damaging their self-esteem and well-being. Our most recent data found that young people in New York City are experiencing anxiety, hopelessness, and even attempted suicide at rates that never.
He's not talking about the psychological effect of millions of migrants not speaking the language, getting better resources and opportunities than the citizens. The powder keg that he's talking about is the powder keg that he actually created. What could be more depressing than to see your community overran by migrants from another country, criminals from another country? He wants to make it about social media because he doesn't like the fact that a regular old YouTuber like me can get on here and do commentary about his statement and people agree or see through his shenanigans.
Seen before. And there is growing evidence that the power of social media is a major cause. This is a serious problem that must be addressed now. That is why earlier this morning, our administration filed a lawsuit against the companies that own 5 major social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and YouTube. As we announced last month in the State of the City address, we must take action to protect our children from harm online, including the growing dangers presented by social media. Together, the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, New York City Health and Hospitals, and the New York City Department of Education, we are filing litigation today demanding that companies be held accountable for their platforms' damaging influence on the mental health of our young people. And we're seeking to recover the cost of addressing this ongoing public health threat as well. Parents everywhere can see for themselves that their children are spending too much time online.
You notice he didn't care how much the children were spending time online or playing video games or playing Fortnite. He didn't care until social media became a public and social apparatus dealing with politics, catching every clip or snippet of wrongdoing by these so-called politicians. He's trying to dress it up nice, but you can see they want to censor us. They want to take our voices. You know what I mean? But now they see that you had the truckers and the working class people banding together, and that's a threat. But you know what makes it a greater threat? These truckers and these working class people have their own media outlets. They have their own sources where they go get their information. They no longer are being played by the likes of Joy Reid and the Roland Martins and the people who are towing the Democratic line. Their voices are being shouted down by the bloggers. A blogger come over here and come on the platform and dissect their whole conversation and disseminate an editorial. You know what I mean? You know, that's why they want to say that what we do as bloggers is not journalism. How is it not journalism when we report the news and we give commentary? Isn't that journalism that you're trying to stop?
City teens spend an average of 3 hours or more per day in front of screens, not including time spent on schoolwork. Much of it focused on the endless stream of social media that has been designed with one goal in mind: keeping the user engaged for as long as possible. Adults find it hard enough to moderate the use of social media, but it's even more difficult for our young people. We know these platforms are designed with addictive and dangerous features that take advantage of a child's natural interest in novelty and play. The social on these platforms, the likes, the trophies, the streaks, are designed to manipulate a dopamine release in the brain. And children lack the maturity and impulse control to continually regulate their use.
Y'all remember just a couple of days ago, 50 Cent, the rapper, in case you don't know who 50 Cent is, came out and said Trump might be the answer. This clout chasing mayor did a whole press conference, and at the end of it said he wanted 50 Cent to make a song about him. You see what I'm saying? You see the duplicitous nature of him? He's like a kid. He's the mayor, but he turns groupie. And now he's coming out and he's giving you all of this about social media. But I'm sure you can read between the lines. You know what I mean? It's not the youth and the young people specifically he's worried about on YouTube and on these platforms. He's worried about the messages because the messages have changed. The people are more politically aware. You know what I mean? You have more people coming out for Trump from different areas and sectors of the community, and they can't grab it. They can't change the narrative because there's too many bloggers, there's too many podcasts, there's too much free media. When I say free media, I mean free thinkers. We can say what we want. We don't come on here with no script. So continue to listen to him. I know he born, but maybe not if you really could see how diabolical what he talking about is. Censorship.
Instead of talking to each other over lunch at the cafeteria, they're absorbed in their screens. Instead of playing at the park with friends, they are inside on a sunny day, clicking and scrolling. Instead of learning confidence and resilience, they are being exposed to content that often leads to insecurity and depression. The feature that keep young people clicking in these dark corners of social media have fueled an alarming rise in online bullying, depression, eating disorders, and suicidal ideation. Social media can damage self-esteem, promote addiction, and often encourages reckless behavior like subway surfing and car theft challenges. We have also seen a dangerous rise in misinformation, xenophobia, radicalization, and incitement to hateful acts.
Now we're getting to the meat of it. He says xenophobia, which you know what xenophobia is, quote unquote. That's when you don't like foreigners. That's when you don't like migrants in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? They want to call that xenophobia. They want to say you radical if you say anything different than the Democratic Party wants you to say. Think about what this guy is really trying to push down your throat. Censorship, and he's attacking the 5 major platforms to try to tie them up in court and to change community guidelines. But you see, he went after all that about the children, he went back to migrants, immigration.
And even young people astonishingly declaring that Osama bin Laden was right as they rack up likes online. Instead of connecting people to one another, our social media companies initially promised their platforms to often tear us apart. These companies are well aware that negative, frightening, and outrageous content generates continued engagement and greater revenue. Children who start watching an online video for a school assignment often find that algorithms keep playing other videos, potentially taking them down a rabbit hole that is inappropriate, hateful, and even dangerous, a place that never even meant to go. There is, of course, a great deal of educational and positive content out there too, but there is also a 24/7 digital dystopia that even very young children can easily access without parents or caregivers ever being aware. The harm from social media is particularly critical in our schools. with students, addictive social media use is disrupting the learning environment on a daily basis. Teachers are burned out from dealing with students' phones use and the fallout from online bullying, leading to lost instructional time and low morale. That is why New York City is joining hundreds of school districts from across the country in filing this litigation to protect our children. Measuring the true impact of social media is difficult because companies often limit access to their data. But Frances Haugen, a whistleblower who went public with her experiences working at Facebook, said that the company had internal findings that showed that 32% of teen girls said that they felt bad about their bodies, and Instagram even made them feel worse. Internal TikTok documents reveal that more than 20% of children are active on the platform between midnight and 5 a.m. when they should be sleeping. In recent years, there was a 40% increase in high school students reporting persistent sadness and hopelessness. Emergency room visits for anxiety disorders are up 117%. And nationwide, suicidal rates for youth are up an alarming 57%. These are not just numbers.
He's right. There's not just numbers because he's making this up. Of course, there's incidents of suicide or problems we've always had with young people, old people, depression, mental health issues. You understand what I'm saying? He's not coming out saying that they're going to have doctors or they're going to deal with the mental health of the citizens. He is gearing it towards censorship because, like I told you, corrupt government's biggest threat is an informed public. That's why you got to support these truckers, the working class, you know what I mean? And the people have to realize how much power they do have. See, this is power, what I'm showing you right now, because I'm taking his words and highlighting what he's saying and showing it to you, showing you him get up there and take you all the way down this labyrinth hole. When in the end, you know they got a problem with media because the media has been unfair to who he thinks Biden. He doesn't like the fact how Trump is controlling the posts of social media. But they're doing it because they keep coming at him. They keep being heavy-handed. They keep trying to be authoritarian. See, this is authoritarian. This is this is violating the First Amendment. You know, everything that they accuse Trump of, they do. They are the biggest threats to democracy. Look what he's doing. He wants to silence the distractors, even though he's trying to act like he's doing something helpful. I'm sure you
To
can
our
see through it.
children. And this is not a reality we can accept or normalize. We're facing a serious youth mental health crisis. And it is up to us as parents, as a city, and as a society to take action, not just to improve academics or build social skills, but to save lives. Because if we don't stand up to powerful companies on behalf of our young people, who will? These companies must change their behavior and their business practices and join us in building a better society for all. We know our tech community can and must.
I'm gonna end on this note. Y'all can pull it up and see what the rest he said, but I wanted to give my commentary at the end. I don't know how many of you people read the Bible, but in the Bible, in Revelations, it talks about the last days. In Babylon, the great must fall. Any person with an eye for spiritual discernment can see that the Babylon in Revelations in the Bible is New York. And before this world can actually become a better place, New York has to be dealt with accordingly. It has become the habitat of every foul and hateful bird, like the Bible says, and unclean spirit. The cage for every foul and hateful bird and unclean spirit is in Babylon. And all that he just said, you can read between the lines and know he's attacking social media, journalists, and podcasters because we can do this. We can call him out. We can say, let Babylon fall. We can say, we stand with the truckers. We can say, we stand with the working man. We can say, we want our tax dollars to do something for our communities. That's what he don't want us saying. Like, share, and subscribe to the video. Put your comments down so we can see what you're saying. And let them know we standing against censorship. Peace out of Detroit.